Well, he's made some very important criticisms, and in fact criticisms that a lot of colleagues have been voicing for some time. The fact is that the Lancaster House speech that the Prime Minister delivered in January of last year did set out a very clear course for the future of the negotiations. And what we saw in Chequers was a complete departure from that, and of course, as he quite rightly says, a position where the UK will cease to be effectively an independent nation and will continue to be a rule taker, and we can't allow it to happen.
So he said there is still time to save Brexit. Many will see that as a warning to Theresa May: change tack, go back to what you said before, or actually I'm going to challenge you for the leadership.
Well, I think you have to read into it what you will, but it was certainly a very trenchant criticism of what the Prime Minister announced after Chequers last week. As I say, it reflects a lot of the concerns a lot of colleagues have had over the last few days, and I think he's quite right. It's not too late to change tack, but we really do have to start doing that now. Frankly, what we saw this week and the amendments we saw this week have made the white paper almost impossible, I think, to deliver. And therefore we do need to have a rethink, and pretty quickly too.
Theresa May would say that this has to be a compromise, and by definition you can't get everything you want. You can't have your cake and eat it, as Boris Johnson once said he wanted. That's the political reality, isn't it, of the numbers in the House of Commons?
I think we saw the issue of numbers yesterday, and of course it is clearly the case that the whole House has to be taken with it. But of course the majority yesterday was very small indeed. And I think that what we do need to do is to look at the white paper, consider whether it is deliverable, consider most importantly whether it actually delivers on what people voted for back in 2016. I don't think that either is the case, and I think it's important now to have a change of tack, as Boris Johnson quite rightly said.
How many of your colleagues do you think would want to get rid of Theresa May as leader? There's lots of rumours about the number of letters going into the 1922 committee, whether it's reached that number of 48. Are we heading that way?
I really don't know. I don't know at all. I mean, there's only one person who knows that, and that, of course, is Graham Brady, the chairman of the 1922 committee. And I'm not in position to say what the contents of his safe are.
But if Theresa May doesn't change tack, do you think she should move aside and let someone like Boris Johnson take over? No,
I think that the Prime Minister has it within her to return to the vision that she set out very clearly at Lancaster House in January of last year. I think that that was a course of action that the party would unite behind, and I think that that's where she should go back to.